Hello everybody and welcome to this video. First things first, I'm wearing a hat because my hair is a mess. Yeah, but anyway, this video is going to be a bit different from my normal videos. This is going to be a more relaxed video, but I'm cable managing my computer, which is actually what the camera's sitting on top of at the moment. But as I didn't record this video from the start, it does mean you missed me taking my power supply out and taking my graphics card out. So this is the side of the computer where you can access your hardware and stuff. I've removed pretty much all of the cables from around this side, but now if we go behind the motherboard over here, you can see I just have this huge mess of cables all down there and there. And at the moment I'm currently failing to manage this one up and around here. There's like a brace thing there, so if I could get a cable tie around there to tie that bit up there, but then it will still fall down in the middle here. What I'm going to do is flip the computer around so that the light is on this back side, and then just put the camera on the tripod and record. Another thing that I forgot to mention was I don't have any before shots, so all I'll have are after shots, but I haven't started cable managing these bits, so they are how they were before, so yeah. Front audio plugged back in. Right, where do I go next? I think this one. Right, so that's my hard drive power cable. That's my SSD power cable. I've got my hard drives at the bottom here and my SSDs at the top. The main reason why I've got the hard drives at the bottom is because there's two fans, but they're more at the bottom of the case, and as hard drives have moving components, I'd like to keep the hard drives cooler, so they go by the fans, whereas the SSDs go up at the top here. While they do get quite warm, it's not warm enough to damage them, and they are SATA SSDs, which are the cooler version of the SSDs, because M.2 drives and NVMe drives get quite hot, which is why they usually come with heatsinks, or if they don't, then you can go and buy heatsinks for them. Right, could I put the fan through there? Ow! That's my finger. And then loop it around in order to make it a bit shorter. But then I do need to take into account my CPU power, which I'll plug back in. So I've got CPU and motherboard power. This motherboard cable is a chunky cable. I'm not looking forward to cable managing this. I'm going to flip the computer around again so you can see me putting this back in while I plug this back in. So that sits in there like that. Now I've got the motherboard and CPU power, which I'll screw the power supply in before I put those through, so me pulling these cables won't dislodge power supply. Got my trusty little box of screws that I've taken out here, so I should get these out. I am aware this recording will probably be a very long one, but this is going to be a more relaxed video. There's going to be less edits. As you can see, the camera is in the same place. And I'm just the camera's in the background while I'm just working on what I'm doing. And there's the power supply plugged back in. So now I can put these cables through. I think what I am going to do is cable manage this upper part of these cables, make them one bundle, and then at the bottom here where they separate, due to being different lengths, I'll just leave that alone. I will cable manage the motherboard cable with the Velcro ones, because the Velcro ones you can just untie them and then just remove the cable. I mean, I wasn't going to cable tie it in with cable ties, because then you need to cut them off and mess about. But with the Velcro ones, I'm more than happy to cable manage. Right, let's actually go around and put these in. Motherboard power goes in there. provides a little bit of light, but not much. Pushing in from the other side of the motherboard tray to stop the board from bowing. And now CPU power, which is up here. This one's always been really tricky. I need my phone just to be like there. And could I? That's a bit better, but then look through the rear facing fan to make sure it's aligned, and then push it in like that. Right, CPU power. Oh, I've got this fan here that I actually forgot to put through here, but no need to worry about that. So there's those. SSD SATA cables I'm fine with, so it's just these bottom hard drive SATA cables, of which I've somewhat cable managed already, and I can't really do anything with them. I don't want to cable them together because I'd like to take each SATA cable out individually without needing to unbundle all of them, which is why I only bundle cables such as these ones, because these cannot be removed. But ones that can be removed, I don't tend to bundle with anything else, particularly bundle with the cable tie to the case, because if I want to remove them, then I'll need to cut that tie to the case. When I upgraded to X99, I wish I bought a motherboard that had two M.2 slots, so that way I could just move all my stuff over to M.2 drives and then get rid of all my SATA drives. Now, as for my storage archive and stuff down there, I can still use those in that hard drive dock I've got, but it would just be so much cleaner because I wouldn't need to mess about with any of this. But the motherboard I've got only supports one M.2, well, only has one M.2 drive. I do know I can get SATA conversions to M.2, but what I'm more interested in is PCI conversions, because if you choose a SATA one, you'll still need to use your SATA cables and stuff, which I want to get rid of. Anyway, enough talking about that. Where's the other power one? Due to that cable tie being there, if I put that one over there like that, then I should be able to, The cables that I really don't like is this one. This USB is just in the way. You know what, I'm going to put it in there. I mean, it's still a mess, but whatever. Oh! Yeah. Right, I think that's everything plugged back in as far as this side of the motherboard goes. So that's going to be it for this side. I'm now going to flip the computer around and deal with this. I'm going to point the camera sort of down there because everything at the top is plugged in except for the CPU fan, but that's just one connector, so yeah. So this red SATA cable here is actually my programs drive one, because it's a 90-degree angle connector bit, so it comes out of the hard drive at 90 degrees and then it runs it along the bottom and out and around to the front to one of these. I'm not really sure how to cable manage it. The end goal was to cable manage the system, and I think I've failed because it's a mess. Now this one is the other hard drives. No, this one is the hard drives. These are hard drives that I need to plug in there, and then there's this one which has come out again. So that one, wait, which one's this? Is that the, alright, it's that one. That's in, USB's in, front audio's in, programs drive is in. Ignoring the programs drive SATA cable, ignoring the SATA, this red one. Alright, let's just ignore that, that one doesn't exist, okay? I think it looks okay. I mean, I know that the GPU and CPU fan still aren't in, but I'd say that is, I'd still call it a mess, but I guess it's pretty tidy. And then you can just see all the SATA cables all up there, and I've gone past the stage of where I begin to stop caring about what the cables look like, and I just want to finish this. Then there's my GPU and the GPU power, which is just going to go straight from here into my GPU. Now, do you know the feature of screws that don't come out of the holes when you take your side panel off? On paper, it seems a really good idea, but in practice, as you can see and just heard, because it bounced off the tripod and now I just tripped over my GT Omega because for some reason I decided to not move that out of the way. On paper it seems like a really good idea, but in practice the screws just fall out anyway. I don't know if you can see that, but the screws just like come straight out. So yeah, that idea doesn't really work. Right, what they should do is they should put the screw through the hole, and then as the screw is in the hole, put on a like very small, almost washer like clamp, which then will stop the screw from falling out. But as you can see, they just, without that little washer thing, they just fall out. I know those washer things exist because I've seen other people and other companies use them and lay it flat. And now I'm going to put my GPU back in. So it turns out the camera wasn't recording, and I only found that out because it went to sleep. But basically I installed the GPU and that's it. So you haven't missed much. And I was saying I'm about to put my GPU brace back in, which is literally just a paper clip. I've got rid of the wooden thing because that was just annoying. So luckily the Strix card, this is the GTX 970 Strix. It's got like little holes in the back of the shroud bit here, so I can just loop the cable tie through one of those holes. I believe it's the second one. So I can just put one end of the paper clip through the GPU like hole bit, and the other end through the hard drive cage hole, and there's my GPU supported. Like, that is not going anywhere. So yeah, that's literally a paper clip as a GPU support. Now I'm going to put the GPU power back in. I'm going to call this video here because I've been doing it for hours and I'm getting to the stage where I just cannot be bothered to cable manage any more cables because it's just taking forever. In my opinion, it is still a huge mess that still needs managing, but I can't manage it at the moment due to various things that I may have pointed out in the video. What you are looking at here is behind the motherboard tray, and if you ask me, I'd say that is still a mess. But people aren't going to look at this side of the computer, so I guess it doesn't really matter. And now what I'm going to do is flip the computer around and show you the other side. And this is the other side of the computer. This is the side that if you had a window, the window would be on this side. But as you can see, the things that still annoy me is this SATA cable here. The fact that it's red is even more annoying, but I'm not going to go and find another SATA cable when this one does its job. And the fact that my case doesn't have a window, so unless the side of the case is off, no one's ever going to see it. And the GPU cable here, I did try routing it around from here and having it coming down over the top, and the cable's not actually long enough to do that. So I've just had to put it back to the way it was before, which is plugged in there and just in the way, like that. As I've pointed out like 3 times now, my case doesn't have a window, so when I put this side of the case on, no one can see the cables, so cable management is pointless. But still, it's like mental ease because I know the cables are a mess, so that's going to bug me even though I can't see them. But that's going to be it for the end of this video. I know it's been a different video because normally I wouldn't do a cable management video or anything like that, but I thought while I'm doing it I could just turn the camera on and hopefully try and create some kind of video content from doing it, and I think I've managed to do that with this video. I mean, it's not edited yet, so whether I actually go ahead and release this video as a video or not, I don't know. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you didn't, then dislike it. Comment, favourite, share and subscribe. And thank you for watching. I'll speak to you in the next video.